And I'm your tea guy, Jesse, just getting our cameras set up over here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope everything is going great for you guys. We are just starting up right now, so we are going to be just having a tea time together. Hope everybody is having a good weekend. If any of you would like to join me for tea, this is your open invitation. You can make any sort of tea you want. We're just going to be having tea together. I'm going to be on here for about an hour, chilling out, hoping everybody is doing good. People are saying I'm muted. Please check to make sure that I shouldn't be muted. Give me a thumbs up if we can actually hear how it's going. Brian Cruz is Jesse. Nice to see you, Brian. Doing good. Yes, how I'm doing? I'm doing great. It's a good weekend here. So people just saying, just got your first box. Way too heavy, says gonna be having some tea. We got some good fans of the channel on. Excellent. People say they can hear me. Somebody's having Moroccan mint tea. I love mint tea as much as it never appears on the channel because I'm not I don't do like that much outside of Chinese tea, but like the one tea I drank before I went to China was mint tea. So I love mint tea. I'd love to try some of the Moroccan mint sometime. Kramis, hello, we got some old tea friends on there, says you can see you fine. Great people over here, Lucy Johnson on YouTube. If anybody's wondering, I have the Instagram, the TikTok, and the YouTube all running at the same time. So if I answer questions that are from other chats, sorry about that. If I miss your question, put it back in the chat. And I want to get started already because I've already started making my tea. I just posted this video on the tea that I was making today. Oop. And this is a really, really beautiful tea, actually, from terms of tea quality, might be the best I have, period. This is a Danju single tree raw pu'er tea. I'll show you the tea cake that this comes from. So this single tree tea is exactly what it sounds like. In Yunnan, there's a mountain with a 700-year-old tree, and the farmers know that tree, and they like that tree, and they like the specific kind of personality of the leaves from that tree. And so they pick that one tree as its own crop, process it completely separately, and come up with Danju, these super high-level tea cakes, which I just made just now, and I'm drinking right over here with you guys. And these cakes are absolutely beautiful and come from that one tree. So single source would mean it comes from like one farm. This is even more specific than that. It comes from one tree, and because it's wild, it's not really even a farm. So I was given a couple of these cakes as a gift by Sister I, who is our tea farmer partner out in Yunnan, and a lot of her teas are on my site. It's a really nice gift because this one tiny cake of this, at the prices that I get it for, to sell it in the States, I probably would have to charge $100 for this 50-gram cake. So it is very, very excellent. That's what we're drinking today. And but any tea is chill, so you don't need to be drinking any sort of crazy special whatever blah 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 to be able to enjoy the thing. Bogey asks, how much did the tea cake cost me? I didn't buy it. They gave it to me as a gift. They gave me 5 of them. So I'm very slowly going through my 5 cakes. In fact, very, very slowly. I got them like 3 months ago, and I'm just opening the first one today. So if it tastes amazing today, which it does, just imagine how good it's going to be if I can age it 10 years. So I'm leaving at least 1 or 2 of those to never be touched, and then maybe leaving 1 or 2 of them possibly as a gift, and I'm keeping 1 or 2 of them for myself. Very, very cool. Xavier says, I like YouTube better than Instagram Live. I have all the different lives on. I just try to be open to everybody when I do the live. I don't know whether any of them are better than the other. I gotta look into whether I can find like one program to do multiple lives at the same time because I'm like all over the place with this live stuff. I have 3 phones up here right now. It's crazy. Questions over here. So it's from the Twin Dongs. Is Sister I wealthy? That's a really good question. Not like when you think of like wealthy Chinese people, no. For living in rural Yunnan, she's doing pretty well. You know, she's worked very hard. They have 3 generations that has been building that tea farm, and they have they've built up quite a bit of good infrastructure there. They have a really nice functioning tea farm that's, you know, obviously worth some money. They also have this nice kind of like, I mean, complex is a big word, but they have like one big kind of like great hall sort of thing for doing like tea events. And then they have a building in the back, which is, I'd say it's like 2 or 3 stories tall, and it's got like 5 rooms in each story. So it's like able to host people from the city if they want to come through and do like tea tours or stuff like that. They have the capacity to do that. So by rural Yunnan standards, and this is, you know, not the richest province in China by a lot. By rural Yunnan standards, she's kind of steered a good ship for herself and her family. But they're not like, it's not like some giant monoculture, you know, big company, blah, blah, blah. It's actually right at a perfect spot. If you work with people that are too small, it's actually very difficult to get like FDA approval for their, like, you know, their facilities. Everything needs to be made in a clean environment. They need to be able to pass, like, you know, health checks if the FDA shows up. So like, it's hard to work with people that are too small, but also too big. All of a sudden, you need to be making a bajillion orders every single time in order to do anything. So, Sister I's been a great partner for us, and obviously, maybe I'm biased because she gives me great tea gifts, but that's what we're drinking. Really nice, bright, electric color. This is a 2024 raw pu'er tea. This is this year's crop. Very, very cool. And so it's already kind of it's very bright and yellow. But imagine the color that thing's going to be after 10 years. It's going to be so cool. Questions over here. Lots of great questions. By the way, Misha reporting. Hello, Misha, one of our Discord mods. Thank you so much. If anybody wants to join our Discord, Misha, you can tell them how to join. Very, very cool. Twin Dongs, the Twin Dong says, thank you for the answer. Appreciate it, of course. Questions, Sophia what type of tea to drink every day would I care about? If she is money rich, she is definitely rich. Yeah, and I mean the richest thing about the people in Yunnan is they live in a beautiful place, and they live in a just like amazing weather, beautiful scenery, drink tea every day. You know, there's 6 billion people on Earth. That's got to be top couple percent of living a good life, regardless of the money. Very, very cool. Wilder Soderberg says, love your content, but the first frame of you holding up a yellow cup looked a little weird. Oh yeah. No, we are very dehydrated up in this one, if you know what I mean. Cheers. For those of you who are just joining in, I'm your tea guy, I'm Jesse. I lived in China for 10 years. I am now back in the US, and what I do here is I continue doing a lot of the stuff that I did in China. I drink tea, I do Chinese stand-up comedy. I had a big show in Pasadena last night. We had about 100 Chinese people from all around the LA area, and even a couple that drove in from Las Vegas to come and see the show. That was Friday night. Saturday daytime, I get to chill out and have some tea. I'm having a good time here. Questions. Thomas Ross says, can I drink a beer with you instead of tea? Also missed a button on your belly. Thank you so much. The button is missing. I don't know where the button went. I put this shirt on today and I figured out there's just no button here. And yes, you can drink a beer, especially if, I'm guessing maybe you're in Europe, it's kind of towards the evening. Although, knowing European people, maybe you just drink a beer in the daytime anyway. Or you could be American and be drinking a beer in the daytime. You're welcome to drink whatever you'd like with me. I'm also a beer guy, although I don't have any professional knowledge in that sense, but like beer. Very, very cool. Alex 2009 says, how old is your tea? The tea we're drinking today is from this year's crop, so this is about as fresh as it gets as far as tea is concerned. So it was picked in late March or early April, and love it. And this is going to get better and better as it ages. So in theory, if this was aged 5 years, it'd be even better. But you know, this is, because it's the single tree tea, this is about as high level as it gets when it comes to tea. All of the leaves from one single tree, selected specifically because it has just amazing attributes, characteristics. It's very bright. It's got some of the lemony note in there. It's really cool. It has tannins. They're in your mouth, you enjoy the tannins and they melt away. There's no kind of heavy tannin aftertaste. So it's like a lot of times the astringent flavor in raw pu'er tea, I kind of like it when it's in the mouth, and then if it's not good, it kind of comes heavy in the back. None of that with this. Very cool. And I apologize if I missed a bunch of questions. I know that there's been a lot of stuff over here. Your nose hair is hanging. Is it? All right. Solve that problem. Great. Questions over here. Can you recommend something? This is from Shahir Prince. Can you recommend something who has never had Chinese tea and wants something cheap to start with? What I would recommend is I have a sampler box. I can show you here. I made these specifically for beginners and new people. The sampler box has 8 different teas in it. So you can see here it has 8 different types of tea. There's some tea oranges, some balls, some packets. And then it also comes with 8 tea cards. So every tea has the steeping instructions, temperatures, and a video instruction thing on the back if you scan the code. And this allows me to give good quality tea and give you a bunch of variety of that tea. And the whole box is $40. So hopefully $40 is not too much to get started. You have 16 sessions in here, and each session can be re-steeped between 5 and 15 times. So like, you're really looking at, you know, $1 a cup, less than $1 a cup for a big cup of tea. Significantly less than that actually. But you need to make it in the, you know, bigger session. It's good for having friends over. You can have a friend over, 2 to 4 people per session. The tea will be able to easily make enough tea for everybody. And that's kind of been my solution of trying to get good tea to people at a reasonable price to start, because there's just no way like that we can deal with like going to the tea farms, getting the tea, packing the tea, exporting the tea, sending it over, and then like have people buy 5 grams of it. The 5 grams would be really, really expensive. You have all of that money and time and labor, and you know, you basically are charging for that if you only get 5 grams. If you get 8 different teas, 10 grams of 8 different teas, all of a sudden we're able to do that. So that's what I would recommend. I call it the Jesse's 8 tea Gofu tea sampler. And again, for my advice for new people, whether it's that sampler or whether it's just anything else, try a bunch of tea, because you don't know exactly what you like. If you find one green tea that you like, maybe you'll like other green teas. If you find a red tea you like, maybe you'll like other red teas. If you find a red tea you don't like, it doesn't mean you don't like any red tea, but it's good to be able to have a chance of that before having to buy 50 or 100 grams of all sorts of different types of teas you don't even know if it works. So that would be the thing. Questions over here. Thomas Ross says, hell yeah, dog. Thank you. Green Tea and Good Vibes says it's a great present for friends, families that are interested in getting into tea. I hope so. Holiday season's coming up. And for those of you who don't know, we are opening our warehouses in the EU and UK in November, if everything goes well. So we will be available in the EU and UK through customs. You just pay VAT like any other thing you buy on the internet. It'll be shipped from the Netherlands and the EU and somewhere west of London, way west of London, if you go to the UK one. But either way, we're gonna have this ready for holiday season. So if you guys are thinking of fun gifts, definitely throw us some support. It's the best way of supporting the tea channel and all the content they make. Very, very cool. Drick Star says, reminds me I need new tea oranges. The tea oranges now are beautiful. I don't know if I've shown people the new tea orange packaging. We worked on this packaging for like 9 months. I'll show you here. It took us a little while, but bam. There's our new 10 tea orange pack. The aged tea oranges, information on the back. Still got the QR code to scan for the video. Bam, bam, bam. Really, really nice. And price, still the same price. We didn't raise the price. We just spent a lot of time and energy on making it better just because. Very excited to be able to share that with people. Questions over here. As Drickstar says, as a graphic design dropout, that packaging looks amazing. Our team in China is amazing. Claire Hong Hong, who is an old friend of mine. We originally met doing bilingual improv comedy in Beijing. My whole company is basically like improv people from the Chinese improv scene that I've dragged along on this wacky tea scheme as the website has gotten bigger and the social media has gotten bigger. I don't know any like business people per se. I know a bunch of improv people, and improv people are the best. she does our graphic design. She used to work at like Harper's Bazaar magazine in China, and so she's able to do the graphic design really, really well. Have a great time. Questions over here. Bo T says, "Hi Jesse, can you actually get addicted to good quality tea? Would you ever drink tea bags again?" It's hard to go back to tea bags after you have had good quality tea. I think a little bit easier for herbal tea people, because the herbal tea is like, you know, the reality is most herbal teas, as far as I know, you just want to get them as fresh as possible, so there's no real, you know, they're all kind of very similar. But tea leaf tea, after drinking the really good tea, you know, it's hard to go back. Also, like I have tea everywhere. That's all full of tea. There's some tea. These are all tea. Over here to the left are giant boxes of tea. I got like a whole setup over there with tea. Like, I have no reason to ever go back to tea bags, because I just have enough tea to last me a long time. It's like people who collect like whatever sneakers. It's like you're not going to run out of shoes to wear. So very, very cool. Questions from Jack. Do you plan on stocking cups for the rest of the Zodiac? Really want to get an ox cup for my partner. We are. We come out with we have a quarterly tea club. So every 3 months we have 3 new teas and a new tea pet and a new tea cup. And we're going through the Zodiac continually. So by the time we get to the ox box, which sounds pretty funny, then we will have one of those. So cheers. What do you guys, let me know, where are you guys from in the chat? We got a lot of people asking over here. Somebody says I'm freezing and lagging. Let me know if that's the case. Ryan McMurray, somebody says something McMurray, Dunk McMurray, I can't quite read it. It says, do you ship to New Zealand? We do. If you go to the website, pick out the stuff you want. Before you pay, it will show you shipping rates to your place. New Zealand's going to be expensive, but I'm pretty sure you've noticed you're in an island very far from everywhere. So that's kind of on geography, not me. But whatever it costs, that's what we charge you. We don't make any money on the shipping. Hello up the street from Second City, Heather Rachi, there you go. We got some improv people in here. I love Second City. I did improv for 15 years. Started the first Chinese improv school in Beijing. I love improv. It's the best. Here's over here, lots of great questions. By the way, if I missed your questions, let me know. I got people in from Chicago, New Mexico, Malaysia. Welcome to our friends from Malaysia. Canada, very, very cool. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, excellent. AFK Dolphin says, looking for some of that 30-year white tea. I'm on my list of things to do in 2025. I want to make that rare tea box. And I think that rare tea box, that 30-year aged white tea, is a really good fit for that aged tea box. I made some of that 30-year aged white tea when I went to the World Tea Expo in Las Vegas, and I think it was 23. Yeah, it was last year. Not this year's World Tea Expo, the one before that. And I brought it and made it at a party after the expo for some tea friends. It was a lot of fun. Questions over here, Eugene, Oregon, Florida, very, very cool. Greetings from Hungary, Anji Red and the Gaiwan. Excellent, very cool. Hungary friends, once we have our EU warehouse open in November, you guys are going to get some good tea. It's all just going to be much easier. If I can do it, I want to ship our next subscription box from Europe and from the UK and save you guys that shipping. Very, very cool. Also from Canada, Sip of Tea from Minnesota, Canada. Got a lot of Canadians on here. Very cool. Goose Squad Assemble, says Sphinx Falcon. Very, very cool. Bro looks like the gay Pied Piper. I mean, I don't know. My dad, who's gay, picked out this shirt, but I'm not gay. I don't know. Everybody thinks I'm gay. I don't know what the deal is. Gaydar getting thrown off. Questions over here. Sipping daily in Alaska. Bam. Thank you, Seth. Very, very cool. Kyle Young says, how would you recommend Shun pour tea to big groups? I have your tea set, but when I serve more than 4 people, everybody gets a fourth of something, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, if you're going to do tea for more than, say, like, I'm trying to think, whatever. This set will do good for about up to 4 people. If you have more than that, you can just make multiple steeps at once and then pour so that everybody gets a little bit more. That's one way of doing it. You can also just use a bigger pot. And then, you know, sometimes it's just like if you're making tea for 10 people, you're not going to be able to do it with the regular Gongfu method. It's not meant to be able to serve tea for that many people. You need just like a bigger pot or something like that. A larger gaiwan can also help. Sometimes people will have a separate gaiwan that's just like bigger. And then if they see that they're getting 5-6 people, you can kind of stretch that with a bigger gaiwan. Or as I said, prepare multiple steeps at once. And then that will allow you to be able to at least pour a larger serving for each person. And just keep that gaiwan working. Keep it making. Cheers, everybody. All right, I'm gonna boil some more water up here. I had this tea. I probably started drinking this tea maybe half an hour ago, and the tea energy is rolling. We're rolling. Everybody's telling me my shirt is unbuttoned. There's no button here. Do I need to just like change shirts? I don't know what to do, man. There's no button there. Maybe I need to throw the shirt out. I don't know. Questions from Gigi. What years did you live in China? Did you ever make it to Dalian? My wife and I were in Dalian in 2010. Very cool. I went to Dalian a couple times. Dalian's a really cool place. It's a seaside town, city. I went there actually because I was invited to perform at the World Economic Forum. Back when I was doing comedian stuff all the time. I did a performance and also did an intercultural workshop, and they do that in Dalian. Very cool leaves. Dalian's beautiful. Great place. Bam, bam, bam. Love it. Very, very good leaves. More questions. Do you have to buy a whole pack to make the tea you sell? That is from Duncan Murray. I don't know what you mean by whole pack. Do you mean the equipment and everything? You can make the equipment you can use the Chinese equipment if you want. You can use a regular teapot. You can even just use a mug and throw them right in the mug. You'll get better results if you have some way to separate the tea and the brewed tea liquid and the leaves. So my basic method for the simplest way that you can try to make tea with no equipment is just to use 2 mugs. You steep the tea in one mug. When the tea is done steeping, you pour the liquid from one mug into the other. You can now drink this liquid, and the leaves are here waiting for the next steep. Even if that's all you have, you can still make the tea pretty well. It's not as aesthetic and not as maybe like experientially enjoyable as if you have a full set and a tea table and everything. That is an option. I also sell like $40 teapot and 2-cup travel packs that are like this big. It's in a little case, and you can take it with you anywhere. It's only $40, so that's another really good option if you're getting into it. Great questions over here. How is it like, say, after? Hold on. Mike Hawk says, how is it like after, say, drinking 1 month? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Mike Hawk. Please extrapolate. Questions over here. When are the new white teas dropping from Xavier? They are going to be dropping along with Dui tea equipment on September 17th, which is the Mid-Autumn Festival. So we're going to be doing Mid-Autumn Festival sale, pots, new teapots, new tea cakes. I figured I would launch them together because I know a lot of old heads are waiting to get the Dui tea equipment, and also we're interested in the tea cakes. And so this will allow you to combine the shipping for all of that. And we'll give some sales, I suppose, if you get both. Very, very cool. Seth says, I started drinking coffee at 13, started drinking tea last year at 27 when I found your channel. Thanks for getting great tea for us all. Cheers. Glad to get people into tea. For everybody's notice, I'm not particularly trying to convert coffee people per se, but you can and should, I don't know, drink both if you like both, but the tea is great. It's way easier to get better coffee than better tea though. Like there's not a lot of places that sell like really good tea. Coffee is now very, very popular. Papa says, I love your channel. Thank you so much. Very, very cool. HSC 312 says, tea helps people to lose weight. I'm trying to lose weight. Matcha is so good. Tea can be really helpful in that. I found like, I'm not particularly in great shape, but I'm in much better shape than I would be if I drank soda as much as I did before I drank tea. Before I drank tea, I drank like a lot of soda. And now I basically don't drink any soda unless it's like at a restaurant and it comes with the drink, it comes with the meal or anything like that. So even just that, great. Questions, Velo says, yeah, but I'm trying to convert coffee people. Go ahead. I mean, I have no problem if coffee people are converted. I just feel like there's like this fight where it's like, oh, tea or coffee. I'm like, you don't have to choose, man. The choice is a false dialectic. The milk oolong is great, by the way, having some now from Bogey73. I'm really glad people finally got our oolong boxes. I spent, I went to Taiwan in January. We had the teas selected in January. We had them like packed and ready to go by like April. And then everything got held up in customs for a long time. So everybody was very patient waiting for their oolong samplers. But now the oolong sampler is just on the site. It's going to be there as far as I care forever. Because it's a great box. Like, I really like the 4 teas that we got. Kiwi Spike says, love the way you're making tea so accessible and keeping the cultural piece alive. I know it, man. I've been very fortunate to spend basically my whole career doing cultural exchange and specifically like US-China cultural exchange. My first, I learned from the best because my first job out of college, I got a Fulbright fellowship to research Chinese comedy. And I apprenticed to a master comedian in China for what turned out to be 7 years until he passed away. His name is Master Ding Guangquan. This fan on the back wall here was a gift given to me at the apprenticeship ritual in 2014, I believe it was. I'm trying to read the fan from here. Yeah, 2014. And that's his calligraphy on there. And Master Ding was a true master comedian, but also he was the only Chinese master comedian to take foreign disciples. And so I got to, my other disciples were from like Iran and Rwanda and Canada and Vietnam and Japan and like, they were Armenia, like they were from all over the world. And so I got to study with the master not just how to do comedy, but also just kind of how to be part of an intercultural group and how to hit this balance of dealing with the culture with respect, but also like we're all here to have fun. Like if culture is so serious that like, you must really respect the culture. Like it's true, you should respect the culture, but this is not fun at all. Like, and a lot of the tea stuff I found in the West, and I wasn't really even looking for this. It got shown to me after I started making my channel. There's a lot of like very, very zen, and there's nothing wrong with that, but like it's almost more ceremony than tea. And to me, I feel like if we lose track of what we're doing, which is making a drink to be with our friends, it's easy to get into this this sort of like, yes, the culture continues to exist, but it isn't really done in the way that it was intended to, which is that all culture kind of has anywhere from like a high culture to a low culture element to it. Obviously fashion, you can go to a thrift store and throw together an outfit for $10, or you can spend $20,000 on one shirt probably, I don't know. I'm not a fashion guy, as you can tell by the fact that I'm missing a button. But, every element of it, but imagine if the only fashion was high fashion, you'd be like, this isn't like real anymore. And so similarly with tea, like all of those elements are real, but they need to be, I feel like they need to be balanced within the context of each other. Otherwise, we're just kind of replicating some sort of ritual without understanding where the ritual came from. And so that's one of my things in trying to share the tea culture is to be able to inject some sort of thought into that process as well. So very, very cool. Questions over here. Joe Cobb said, did you eat pork while you were in China? I did, and I eat it here too, because I don't keep kosher, even though I'm Jewish. So I'm a bad Jew in that sense. But it was never, I didn't grow up eating kosher, and so it was not a difficult thing to be able to live in China for me. If you do keep very strict kosher, it's difficult in China, although not impossible. But if you're kind of kosher style, you can just kind of avoid the pork. And You might need a little couple questions about what kind of fat everything is being fried in or stirred in, but other than that, you can get by. Cheers, everybody. Appreciate your thing. Abby says, hey, Jesse, glad you're doing well. Thanks so much. JT says, you rock, dude. Oh, I appreciate it. Abby says, incredible to be able to have the opportunity to live abroad and be immersed in another culture. I agree. I mean, I'm a big fan of, like, if I had if I could wave a wand and create two kind of, like, social projects in the United States, I would create a sort of like year abroad and year abroad within America programs. Like, I learned so much from being able to have the ability to go and travel and live abroad, because my first year of living abroad was subsidized by the government. I'm very happy to be able to pay extra taxes now on all the tea we're selling. That came of getting a small boost in the beginning and support to be able to go outside the country and learn all this stuff. A lot of the work I've done now is thanks to the Fulbright program, which was sponsored by the State Department and also by the Chinese version of the State Department. But I think, like, more people should be able to do it. I think a lot of the sort of anti-China, like, they stole our jobs mentality is not so much based in actual numbers, because the loss of jobs, there's a lot of really good resources. The loss of jobs is mostly due to machines taking away people's jobs, just jobs disappearing overall, rather than they were specifically offshore to China. But more was that the growth from the internationalism that happened as a result of the world opening up. The wealth went to very, very few people. It went to basically company bosses that were able to do that work and send the jobs abroad. And it also went to, to some degree, people like me, which is like to say, well-educated, got a chance to study Chinese in college, got a chance to study abroad. I got a chance to take advantage of a lot of these benefits of the international system because I was able to travel abroad. And so if you have a chance to, if you're graduating from college, I highly recommend looking into teaching English abroad for 1 year. Almost any country in the world needs English teachers. If you have a bachelor's degree from the US, any bachelor's degree from the US is worth a lot in a lot of developing countries. And just get a chance to live abroad. It gives you amazing perspective on living in America as well. I live in Los Angeles now. A big part of it is because there was really bad smog in Beijing, and I like being able to look out and see the blue sky every day. And it makes you really feel fortunate for, even though there are a lot of environmental problems in this country, to realize that we are incredibly privileged to live in a highly developed country like the United States. And as much as there are problems with the US, I feel like people that don't leave the US on either side of the political spectrum kind of don't appreciate a lot of the good stuff about here. And it also means you have another way of being able to live. I really love living in China. Every time I'm back, I really enjoy it. And I'm even thinking of spending more time back there next year and putting together my plan for 2025. And and it doesn't mean you have to hate where you are to go to another place to live and to prosper. And I think that if I could wave a wand and have that happen, I'd open up those things to as many people as possible. And the first step of that is language learning, because it's one thing to study abroad in, say, like England, where they speak English, but it's another thing entirely to go to a country, whatever, China, Japan, Kenya. Oh, they speak English in Kenya. But you know what I mean, like different places around the world where you have to stretch yourself. Learning the language has been such a big thing for me. So anyway, rant over. Appreciate it. Questions from other people says, Fresh Prince of Hell says, interesting. Interesting, that's good. I'm glad that's what my rant got a interesting, great. Questions from RVA Dad, are you using the Gongfu tea set that's in your store looking for an anniversary gift? Yes, so this is the tea equipment is the blue-white gaiwan set. So this is the blue-white gaiwan set. It comes with the gaiwan, the plate, the filter holder, the pitcher, and then it comes with 4 of these cups, which I'm not using right now, but they're also blue-white gaiwan set cups. And the table is my blue stone tea table. This is a stone tea table, really, really pretty. It drains in this tube that's attached. I don't know if you can see it. There's a tube that drains to the bottom of the table. This is what I'd recommend if you want a really nice set that's going to not move. If you do think you're going to be moving your set around or you want to be able to kind of take it out and put it back, I have a bunch of travel sets that come in like basic tea sets that still come in like a carrying bag and that have a foam insert where you can keep everything in the foam. So all of that would be a good idea. And so I think the cheapest like full set with the table and all the equipment, I think it starts at 88 bucks. And then if you want this bluestone set with the blue white porcelain set and also a tea sampler, I think it's like 250 is like the max. But it's still like, that would be with the table, with the set, and with a tea sampler. So I try to give a big range of anything from like 40 bucks is the cheapest tea maker. It doesn't have a table, but it's like a pot set, all the way up to like 250, whatever. I try to give a range so people are able to do stuff. Hope you enjoy it. It'd be a good gift. Somebody's restricting my live. I don't know why. What's going on? This is ridiculous. People are saying I may be promoting a product or service, but I run a tea site. I don't get this, man. I'm just like fed up with the algorithms. Like, I just think we're edging towards a really bad version of reality where the computers decide what we see, and eventually the last human that understands why we're seeing what we're seeing is going to be fired or die, and we're just going to be run by machines that are training machines built off of data sets that nobody even knows what they are because they're too complicated to look at, and it'll just be impossible for humans to crunch the numbers the machines are doing, and we're all just going to be having to take guesses and run machines to test other machines about which machines should be running the world. Very fun. It'll be great. Anyway, great questions over here. Somebody says, I will give you $5 if you sew a button onto your shirt right now. I'm gonna have to lose that bet because I don't have an extra button and I don't know how to sew. Because I am a hopeless person built on a modern society where this stuff happens. Questions over here. It says, YouTube might be a mess right now. It might not be my problem. I don't know. I don't know. The Amish were right about tech, says username. They certainly have a strong opinion about it. I mean, it's like, I'm a pragmatist. Like, I think the most important thing is like, how do we, while still being like good people, get to where we want to go? You know, I think like, you know, live streaming is fun. Like, there are people who really abuse live streaming. Like, there are companies that just hire people to live stream 8 hours a day and just like grind through people and burn them out. And there are people that live stream for funsies, and there's everything in between. The live streaming is not the problem, but I'm like, you don't want to make people burn out doing like crappy live streaming 8 hours a day selling junk. It's like, this is not really a great use of the technology for any real purpose. And similarly, like all the other technology stuff, it's all about how you use it and why you use it and where you use it and how you apply it. So, you know, the technology itself is pretty amazing. I get to have tea with people from all over the world. And speaking of which, look at how nicely these leaves have started to unfurl. Look at how beautiful those leaves are. Just giving you guys each a look at the leaves. Really big, full, beautiful leaves. Yeah, look at that. Dude. Yeah, very, very, very nice. Very, very nice. So nice. I'm gonna put my tea pets over here. I realize I'm gonna give Big Puff a little hat there. The tea leaves. Bonnie over there. You guys just a little, because this is probably up in the most expensive tea I have in my house right now. Cheers. Questions. Other questions. Jack Lawson says, hey Jesse, love your channel. Just curious if you're able to sustain yourself with the income from the videos and online store. Do you have other sources of income? Right now I am able to make a living off of the tea store. Not really from the videos, in the sense that, like, you know, I think I've gotten something like 60 million hits on YouTube since I started, and I think they've paid me like $5,000 for that. So, $5,000 is nice money, but it's not worth. You can't like live full time making 2 videos a day for $5,000 forever. The cost of, like, we run a podcast, the cost of my editors and team is way over $5,000 for what I produce. But the store is profitable, and the store is making it. I don't need other sources of income now, but I also still do continue to do comedy shows. I tour, I take gigs, occasionally hosting bilingual events in Southern California and around the world. I got flown out to New York a month ago to do shows there. If I wanted to, I could teach like comedy classes and I could make some more money that way. And also I just sold my book, a book that I'm going to be writing on Chinese comedy and my time studying Chinese comedy. Last month we just signed the contract. Simon & Schuster is going to be publishing, Avid Press at Simon & Schuster is going to be publishing my book. And so I got an advance for that. Which should be hitting my account pretty soon, actually. I need to ask the publisher agent when that's actually getting paid. But yeah, I make a good living now off of the tea, and it's really a blessing because when COVID hit and I lost my whole career, and I had a comedy club I ran in Beijing for 5 years that died overnight because of COVID, and I couldn't get back to Beijing for 3.5 years. I lost all my stuff. I basically had a total restart of my life in 2020, and to be able to sit here on a Saturday and drink tea and be able to afford rent in Los Angeles, which is nuts. I feel very, 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 very happy with the results. And I mean, this is all thanks to you guys. It really is, because I've been, I love making the videos. If I didn't make any money from the tea shop, I would still be making tea videos. I probably wouldn't make 2 a day, but I would be still putting out some sort of videos. And so the ability to not only make a living off of this, but be able to help people really get good tea. Like when I lived in China, and the couple people I knew that really wanted good tea, every time I came back, they were very excited for me to bring stuff back in my suitcase, because that's how you get good tea from China. It's like somebody who just came back from China. So to be able to do that is get it out to you guys in a way that really works. It's amazing. So great questions over here. Beijing's comedy loss is RT gain. I'm hoping to be able to tie it all together somehow. We had a big Chinese comedy show in Pasadena last night. Really great, a lot of fun. There's so much. There's a lot of good energy in the Chinese comedy scene, even outside of China. And that's especially useful because outside of China, you don't need to send your scripts in for approval, which is really nice, especially after getting used to that system for 10 years. I'm like, oh, don't have to do this. Excellent. Questions from K-Onyx. Will you be able to get any more Liu Bao Black Jasmine tea? I have a sample of a new crop of that heading over to me. If I taste it and I like it and it's good, we'll get it back on the site. I'm a little bit worried because it was one of these, like, says it was delivered 2 days ago and I don't have it yet, so I need to track that down. But every time I go down, my building's like whatever package room / like, whatever maintenance office is always closed. This building is not great. I have some problems with the building management, but I'd rather have the problems with the building management than spend another $2,000 a month to live 6 streets up that way where it's fancier, and like it really is like another $2,000 a month for this size apartment to live in a nicer building. So I'm like, every time I'm like, oh no, they might lose a package every now and then. It's like $2,000 a month. I can get another package sent for $2,000 a month. Crazy. Questions from Shahryar Prince. Oh crap. I currently have a family member in Guangzhou for business reasons. Anything I can ask him to bring back? Anything you'd recommend tea-wise? If they have anything local, Guangzhou people drink a lot of tea. Guangdong grows tea, Guangxi grows tea. Have them bring you something back. I'd say whatever you can get there, give it a try. Obviously, like, I would need to be there in person to try to figure out whether it was any good or not. I don't know exactly what I can recommend there. But if he knows anybody who's a real tea drinker, maybe he could ask other people that are real tea drinkers. what they recommend. So very cool. Awesome. Questions over here. Kat says, I feel so lucky to have found your tea. Thank you. And now that I get all my tea from you and from West Giant Tea, I feel like everything I drink now is so clean, just feels good. Eating and drinking good stuff feels great. I mean, recently I've just been like, especially because I accidentally, not accidentally, I eat out too much. In China, I used to eat out basically every day because you could get a really good bowl of noodles for $4. And so like there was definitely nothing I could cook for $4 that was better than that. And even though now I like cooking, I live alone, and so there's a lot of dishes where it's a ton of energy and time if I want to cook myself something really nice, although I do that pretty regularly now. But I notice when I eat out, especially in LA, you can go to a fast food place and spend 20 bucks, and it's like 20 bucks, I can buy like a full steak and like eat like a really nice steak that I make at home for 20 bucks. And tea is a similar thing. If you like, even this tea, which is like absurdly expensive, it's like the price of a whatever double mocha, whatever blah 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 latte thing at Starbucks. It really doesn't make sense to me to drink bad tea, because even the really really good stuff, if you get even a small cake of it, 50-gram cake, that's 7 to 10 sessions. We have them on the site for like $20 to $35 or $38, I think is the max for that amount of tea. Even at $38 for 10 sessions, you're spending $4 a session, not even. So it's like, how much money can you save by not doing it? You're gonna save a couple bucks. I mean, it's like the difference between, it doesn't, I don't know. At least I'm fortunate enough that for me, those $2 or $3 don't matter. And what does matter is kind of like, as you said, feeling really good. The tea energy, the tea quality, the experience is all so much better. It's not that bad. Comment over here on Instagram. Sakura Jodos is supporting from Lahaina. They're very cool. Is that in Hawaii? Where is Lahaina? I'm sorry, I don't know. Questions over here. What was it like, and how did you meet your tea people for the first time while in China? From Jay Furian. That's a great question. I met my tea people at many times. So I lived there basically a decade. So over time, I would meet more and more tea people, and they tend to introduce you to other tea people. So what happened was I originally met one of my main tea people, Yunqing, who does he does our music of Monsong tea, our tea oranges, a bunch of our pu'er. It's all Yunqing stuff. I met him in like 2011, I want to say, when a friend of mine took me to the Beijing tea market and took me to his shop, and we just kind of really clicked. And I moved to China full-time in 2012, and so all from 2012 through the pandemic, I was based in Beijing. Now I would go like once a month to hang out with Yunqing at the tea shop, just as like a fun thing to do in the daytime. Benefits of being a comedian, I had control over my entire time in the daytime, and so it was not difficult to find at least once a month, sometimes even twice a month, that I could go down to the tea market and just chill. I also, as a comedian, I got to tour a lot within China. So I would tour and I would do shows in Hangzhou. I would do shows in Guangxi, in Nanning. I did shows in Suzhou. I did shows all over Zhejiang. I did shows in Shanghai, all of the tea areas. And so whenever I went to a tea area, I went to Chengdu. They have amazing tea in Sichuan. Did a lot of shows in Chengdu. So whenever I would go to these places, generally the people who were paying me to go do the show would be paying for my tickets, and they would pay for like whatever, lodging the night before the show and the night of the show. So I get two days of free lodging and the plane tickets paid for, and everything else in China is really cheap. You can take an hour-long cab ride for like whatever, I don't know, like 25 bucks a lot of places. So I would literally cab way out into the rural areas to be able to like go around the tea areas if I didn't know anybody, and I would just like muck around and start walking into tea shops. And you go to a tea shop in a rural area, it's because they are tea farmers and they have a farm somewhere, or they're working with tea farmers. And so you sit and talk, and it's the only white guy that these tea people have ever met that speaks fluent Chinese. People were very open and very excited to talk to me. And at the time, it was just a total hobby. I never had any intention that I'd ever really make a living off of this. In the back of my head, I was like, this tea is really good. I bet people in America would buy it. But it doesn't matter, because nobody in America knows anything about tea, and so there's no way to educate them all. This was before social really blew up like it does now. And so when the pandemic hit, I got stuck back in America. I spent the whole of the year of 2020 trying to make online comedy content in China. But even when the videos did well, I couldn't make a living because I couldn't do live shows, and that's how comedians make their money, is like ticketed live shows. No one gets paid for social media, really. So I was very frustrated, and I started making more and more tea and writing fewer and fewer jokes. And eventually it kind of occurred to me I should try to, maybe this tea thing could actually be a thing. I have all the farmers on my WeChat, and I have my friends who run small tea shops that I can work with. And it was during the middle of the pandemic, which was the worst time in modern human history to start an import-export business. But, it was so bad that I was like, well, if we can just make it break even during the pandemic, eventually we will be able to make savings in other areas. And that's exactly what happened. We haven't raised the price on anything since COVID came out, even with all the inflation going on. I'm just trying to balance the inflation with getting stuff more we have bigger scale, we get a little bit of savings there. We print more bags at once, we may save a little bit of money there. And so trying to bring down the unit price of the tea by being more efficient instead of raising the price. And so far it's worked out. I haven't had to raise the price. And I can make a living doing tea, which is, that's the dream. So it's, so that's kind of how I met people. And then recently going back, I'm meeting more people. So I have tea friends that introduce me to tea friends that introduce me to tea friends. And some of those people you really click with, and some of the people you click with have really good tea, and sell it at a reasonable price. Especially because to them, all of the hard part of selling abroad is you have to do the exporting, you have to do the packing, you have to translate or come up with individual packaging in ways that Westerners like. You have to come up with types of products Westerners like. We sell a 10-pack of these tea oranges. In China, a lot of the places, the minimum buy is they have these big things that are 40 or 50 of them. Yes, it's cheaper because it's there, so it's but it's still more money to buy 50 tea oranges rather than 10. And a lot of people in the West, they're well, I'm not going to buy 50 of something I've never had. So we have to design products that you guys might actually try, or our 8 tea sampler where we give you 2 sessions of 8 different teas. Nobody in China sells a product like that at all. Because in China, it's people have a lot more tea education. They kind of just know what they like already, and they buy bigger amounts of it. So it's pretty crazy. So all that work, and then at the end of all of that importing, blah blah blah, putting all the cash up, they still don't know how to sell it. So the result is a lot of the tea farmers in China are very happy to work with me, because I just basically, what I do and a lot of the value add that I give here is I am able to just go not to tea exporters that are trying to sell to Westerners and know they can make these big margins on bad tea because Westerners just buy bad tea. I can actually go to the real farmers who are doing really good tea within the China tea scene and bring it outside the China tea scene to the rest of the world. And so as much as I really try very hard to find good tea, I'm not going to pretend it's really easy to find tea that's way better than you can get in the West. The challenge is getting that good tea at a reasonable price, managing the packaging, restrictions, blah, 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 FDA registration, importation, where do you store it when you get it to America? All these questions the tea farmers there just don't want to deal with. And so as a result, the people that export tea to the West are generally, they're we can just do this with worse quality tea because, how are they going to get better tea? Nobody does it. So it's really been a surprising business opportunity that I didn't expect. But even beyond that, I'm not doing it for the money in the same way I wasn't doing the Chinese comedy for the money. I really like this stuff, and it's a fun way for me to spend Saturday drinking tea and chilling with you guys. So very, very cool. Velo says I fully support 50 packs of tea oranges. They have these, imagine this. This is not tea oranges, but imagine basically something like this, but even bigger, and it's just full of the tea oranges. And that's kind of what a lot of the packaging of the tea oranges looks like in China. And it would be, there'd be branding and blah, blah, blah. But this sort of thing full of tea oranges is kind of what they sell. And no one's gonna buy that many tea oranges. It'd be over $100 easy for something like this. That's not gonna be an easy sell for people in the States. go. But yeah, cheers. I'm gonna stay on a little bit longer. I've been on almost an hour, and I do want to kind of get a little bit of exercise because it's so nice out. So I'm gonna get going in just 5 minutes. I'll do 1 or 2 more questions as we enjoy the rest of this dungeon. So now it's interesting. This is like steep, whatever, 10, 11, 12, I don't know. But the tea is it's lost a little bit of the pop, but it's still very sweet. TikTok is really giving me a lot of trouble with this. It's asking me to verify that I'm a real person by sliding these puzzle pieces over after they restricted me about talking about my own tea. They're like, you sound like you're selling something. I'm like, I'm selling my tea. Like, I imported the tea. It's my brand. But whatever. Maybe I needed to check a box saying I was going to do it. I don't know. Questions. Xavier says, when are the new white teas coming out? I answered this before to you. They're coming on September 17th with the rest of the tea drop. Dway's teapots, Dway's teacups, all these beautiful straw hat teacups. Very, very nice teacup. These are going to be available as well as other tea equipment from Dway. And along with the new tea cakes and the Dway's teapots, all that stuff is going to be out on September 17th for the Moon Festival. So if you're waiting to make an order, if you know you're going to get a whole bunch of stuff, you might want to wait until then, or if you know you're going to do that. But we have lots of great stuff on the site in the meantime as well. If you're new, like, you don't need to wait for those specific ones. Very, very cool. Very cool. Questions. Over here says, I think you underestimate how many people like the tea oranges you have on your website. I would certainly buy a giant tin of them. That's from Rumbrae. That's good to know. I'm working, what I really want to do, this is ambitious because it's really hard to do. One of the reasons I like these tea oranges is because they actually use good tea. Part of the problem in China is that, like, because these are like kind of a newer product that's more interesting to young people, they tend to put really crappy tea at the tea oranges. And so if you've tried other tea oranges that are not from my site, there's a reason I used this tea orange, and there's not a whole bunch of them on there. And why they're a little more expensive than what you could find if you just search for just random tea oranges is because they're actually filled with good tea, and that's hard to find. So what I want to do is I want to try to take tea that I know is good from our current tea providers, maybe from Dui, maybe from Sister I, and I want to use that tea in the oranges. And I want to buy our oranges direct from the orange people, buy the tea from the tea people, and collide them together near the speed of light, annihilating themselves in a flash of pure tea energy. And that's kind of the plan. If we can't get them going that fast, we could just fill them and put them on the site. I would love to do that with different teas, with the show pu'er, red tea, white tea oranges, making stuff that would be a little bit unique. That's part of our plan in 2025 to see if we can do this or not. I don't know if we can pull it off, but I would love to try that. That would be a lot of fun for me. Questions from Kate the Great. Hey Jesse, what teas do you recommend for somebody new to Chinese style tea? I brought this up earlier. I have a tea sampler. My recommendation is to try as many types of tea as possible. This is the sampler. It has 8 different teas in it and 8 different tea cards. There's a lot of them there. I don't know if you can see them. They're all kind of stacked up. But this is what I recommend because you want to give people the chance to try many different types of teas at once and without having to pay too much money for any of them. So I can't really on the internet, because shipping, if I send you a $5 sampler, shipping would be $8. But if you have 8 $5 samples together, then it actually works. And it makes a really great gift. So the 8 tea sampler. So very cool. I'm going to do one last question and then get going. Violet May says, enjoying the Taiwan tea sampler. Glad that you're enjoying it. That's not really a question, so I'll do one more. The Taiwan sampler is excellent. Questions over here. Kate the Great says, thank you. It's great to know. Thanks for the suggestion. I got you. They're also on my TikTok shop. You're on TikTok. You can go to the TikTok shop and get it there. Prismatic says, your teas are so good. Appreciate the knowledge. Thanks so much. Nathan S says, the sampler was the first thing I got and I couldn't recommend it more. It really helped me know what teas I like the most. That's really great to hear. Which teas did you wind up liking the most out of the sampler? Let me know. Drickstar says, I'm remembering correctly that incense is going to be coming to the shop at some point. I'm working on that. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 types of incense here that I've gotten samples of. You know, some of the incense is really, really good. It's just like a really excellent incense that we have here. But the challenge is trying to figure out a way to, it's just really expensive. There's no way around the good incense being expensive. And so I'm trying to, for the incense, I was thinking of coming up with some sort of like incense sampler where like these sticks are like pretty long, right? But if we broke each stick into like thirds, you could get like, you know, a couple sticks worth of this. You would still have like 20 sessions. They would just be shorter sessions. But like you could do 20 sessions of a couple different incenses. And so that way you can still have like a decent number of sessions. But like nobody sells incense in that short thing. And so like, I'm trying to sort through a lot of details about how I want to present the experience of doing the incense. And also of course who the suppliers would be. Incense is a really tricky market because you need to have really trustworthy people because they say, this is what it is. And you say, well, it's a stick. Unless you're really, really good at smelling incense or else you really, really know the supply, it's easy to kind of pay more than what the thing is worth. So I'm always looking for a way to do incense. It would be really fun. So people said I had incense in the pop-up. Yeah, so those were the incense samples. There were 2 of the incense samples that I took to the pop-up. And so I was just making incense for people there, which hopefully you guys liked if you were at the pop-up. So anyway, very, very cool. It's been an hour. It's been a great tea time. I just want to take one last show of you guys of these amazing tea leaves from the Danju. Very, very pretty leaves. Very, very pretty leaves. Excellent tea leaves there. Fantastic. If you didn't see about these teas, if you don't know what I was drinking, I very highly recommend as soon as the live stream is ending in just one moment that you go to my page and see the most recent video I posted because I explain it there. It's really great to know. Again, I'm Jesse, I'm your tea guy. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Please do leave comments on the videos. That's where I look for ideas for new videos, is in the comment section of the videos. And hope you guys have a great weekend. That's all I got to say. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. See you guys. Bye-bye. Have a good one. XF.